All right. So looks like I'm alone again. So I guess I'll just go through with the HUD training, and if somebody wants to join in after, you are more than welcome to. So today we're going to talk about how inspections work on a HUD-owned home. So first off, I remember that HUD homes are not inspections on HUD home are not like every other inspection that you would be used to. There is a specific process that you have to go through, and certain things that you have to do both before and after the inspection when it comes to the inspection. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So again, this is how do HUD inspections work on a HUD home. So first off, there are two big major types of purchases when it comes to HUD homes. You can purchase as an investor or an owner occupant. The main difference between the two is investors can conduct an inspection on the property, but if they choose to terminate as a result of any damages found during the inspection period, they do not get the earnest money back. They would forfeit the earnest money. Owner occupants, however, are entitled to a 15-day inspection period, and if as a result of the inspection something comes up that they do not like, then it's going to be too much for them to handle, then they do have the option of terminating within that 15-day period and requesting their money back. So first and foremost, if the buyer would like to get the utilities turned on for the purposes of their inspection, there does need to happen a utility activation request. The form is online. Looks just like the one on the right. It can be found at the following website at utility activation, guardianassetmanagement.com/content files. This link will also be provided to you in a link and an email when your contract gets accepted and once you get a copy of the completely ratified and executed contract. So a couple of things to keep in mind when it comes to utilities is the utilities can only be activated for 72 hours maximum. So you have to put on this form right down here when you want them turned on and when you want them shut off. So make sure that you submit this utility activation request a minimum of 4 days prior to when your buyer would like to get the utilities turned on for their inspection. And with the current pandemic, it is taking them a little bit longer to process them because there's nobody in the office to receive them. So they recommend that you allow at least 5 days before, just to be on the safe side and make sure that you can get the application processed and approved prior to the inspection date. A couple of things to keep in mind when filling it out and sending it in is the entire package. The entire package that must be sent in for utilities to be activated is, first and foremost, you do have to make sure that you attach a cashier's check or money order for $150 made payable to Guardian Asset Management. And the originals will be mailed right here to Utility Activation. Now, this is just for any charges that are incurred during the time that the buyer has the utilities on, as well as any additional costs that that Guardian Asset Management has for during the time that anything that they have to pay as a result of going and having somebody out there to rewinterize the property if that is necessary. So it's make sure that on the check you also add whether check or money order, whichever you're using, make sure that you also include in the memo line the case number and property address. Make sure that everything is completed and signed as well. Make sure that you put on here if there's any refund due, who we want that refund sent to, and the address, so that they can send that properly. You only have to fill out page 1, not page 2. Page 2 does not have to be filled out, but it does have to be sent in when you send in your original copies. So because of the current pandemic, they are allowing electronic copies as well. So what you'll do is you will fill out the first form and take a scanned copy of the check or money order filled out, and you're going to scan all three documents into one document, and you're going to mail the originals to Guardian Asset Management. And again, make sure you reference, send in all this information, send the originals to there, but take a scanned copy, and you're also going to email the scanned copy to Utility Activations at Guardian Asset Management. Again, make sure that you put the property address and case number on the subject line, and they will review that generally within 72 hours. And they will respond via email, giving you an approval, and they will also let you know which utilities they are going to allow you to turn on. Now for water, one thing to definitely keep in mind is the water. They do not allow the water to be turned on. Now this is the case with all properties, and that is mainly because if there is some kind of leak with the water, they don't want any additional damage to occur as a result of the water being turned on and flooding happening or anything like that. So they do only allow air test on the water. So they don't allow the water to be turned on for any inspections or appraisals. So make sure you keep that in mind, and make sure you check with your lender and ensure that that is going to be acceptable for them. So again, you will receive a response via email indicating which utilities are allowed to be turned on. It is you, the buyer, and the buyer's agent's responsibility to contact whether it's the city or Excel or whatever the utility provider is, to contact them to get the utilities turned on or off prior to your inspection deadline. But just make sure you get that approval first. Now, one thing to also keep in mind with inspections is, remember, HUD-owned homes are sold as is, where it is, and without faults. So again, what that means is, as opposed to a regular inspection where you could negotiate repairs and get an escrow and stuff like that for them, HUD does not allow any kind of repairs. They don't give concessions for repairs. So your buyer's options when it comes to inspection is either to move forward or to terminate based on inspection items. The only exception to this would be if there are certain items that need to be fixed. If the buyer is doing an FHA insured 203K, 203B loan, then those repairs would be limited to only what is required for the appraisal. And again, they would have to be getting repair estimates, has to be done by the buyer's representative, whoever that may be, and those have to be submitted to the lender so that they can get approval for that. But HUD does not take care of doing any kind of repair estimates or making any kind of repairs. They also do not allow any repairs to be done prior to closing. So if the buyers decide to terminate, there is also a process for that. So they would have to submit what's called a contract release and earnest money deposit form. So that can be found at the following website right there. If you can't find it, feel free to please give me a call and let me know that your buyers will be terminating, and I can point you in the right direction and walk you through the process. So there are a couple of things that need to be done. So first and foremost, this needs to be completely filled out and signed by both the buyer and the buyer's agent. Generally, they only want wet signatures, so please get wet signatures if you can, but with this current pandemic, they are allowing electronic signatures if that's all you can get at this time, with taking into account the current pandemic. So again, this needs to be completely filled out. Just the top half, the bottom half gets completed by the asset manager. You do also need to have your buyer write out a letter stating that they would like to cancel the contract and giving a couple of reasons why they would like to cancel the contract. So for example, what inspection items were found. So if there was, hail damage or any other big damages that occurred that they don't want to, that are causing them to want to terminate. And then those must be stipulated in that letter, and that needs to be dated and signed. Also make sure, sorry guys. So definitely make sure that gets on there. You do also have to have a copy of the professional home inspection that was done on the house. So I know generally they don't require home, there's no certification required for home inspectors in Colorado, but for HUD-owned homes, they in order for them to consider your termination after inspection, it does need to be done by a certified inspector, and full copy provided to HUD if you intend to cancel the contract as a result of found on the inspection. So definitely make sure that all this is filled out, and this does also all have to be submitted as one file. They don't want it to be multiple files. They need to be one file so that they can review it. So once you have all this filled out, then you email the whole thing as one file to contracts@reglobal.com. Also, definitely make sure that on the subject line you write the property address and case number so that they can know exactly what property you're looking for, to help speed up the process if they don't have to try to search through the email and find out which asset manager is handling it, or send it to the right department. So once you get submitted, it takes them about 3 business days to review the inspection and all the forms that were submitted if you decide to cancel the contract. So you will get an email response that says, we accept your cancellation of the contract, and in that same email they will also CC the title company, letting them know to return the earnest money to the person indicated on the form, because the contract has been canceled. So definitely, please, if you submit a cancellation, make sure that you allow 3 to 5 business days at least for them to process it. So that is it. If you guys have any questions at any time during the inspection period, or before, or anytime between now and then, please feel free to give me a call anytime at 970-370-0135. Be happy to help you guys in any way that I can, walk you through the process, or answer any questions during the process that you have. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I appreciate it, and have a good day. Hope to sell something with you guys soon.